Thank you for watching Sew Cheeky's tutorial on how to sew a welted pocket. How a diaper maker primarily would use a welted pocket would of course be to for a pocket opening in a diaper. So the materials that I'm using are a little bit different than traditional materials for you know, a welted pocket in a jacket or a dress or what have you. So I'm using a polylaminated pull, what we call a pull fabric, and then I'm using a woven. Most people would use in the diaper making world, would be using a pull fabric and maybe a suede cloth or something along those lines. Not necessarily a woven fabric, but you know, you can use anything depending on, you know, what your project is. So the easiest way to mark up for your welted pocket is you first make your center line where you want your pocket opening to actually end up. Then you measure out 1/2 inch and put a line the same length on both sides, and then from there measure out 1 inch and do again another parallel line the same length, and then do 2 perpendicular lines where you want the end of your pocket to be. So that's really important, is to make sure you get exactly at the end of those lines when you're doing the sewing. So you want to mark this up on the right side of your fabric and using a water soluble pen, specifically used for marking. So the next step is to put the 2 right sides together of your fabric. And by right sides, I'm going to show you an example. This isn't a perfect welt, by the way, welted pocket. The right side of the fabric is the fabric that you want to show through the welted pocket. So the fabric you want on top, and then the pocket, the pieces that peek through on that welted pocket. So the next step is to actually fold this over. And what you're creating are those folds right there. So you're lining up the lines that you've created. So this outside line goes to that inner line there. And then pin it, or be lazy like me and not pin it. I recommend pinning it. So then I'm going to go and sew this up, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so the next step is to actually do the sewing. I folded it over and my lines line up all the way down, and just make sure that you've got your other fabric underneath and that it's all pinned and ready to go as well. Alright, so I'm going to start sewing. This is just a straight stitch. And like I said, I've made sure that I've started right on that line so that everything will line up in the end. If you have a fabric that can be ironed, you can't iron this laminated fabric, I would recommend going ahead and doing that first, so you get a nice, crisp, easy line to sew on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, here goes the other side of the welt. I've got everything lined up. Alright, the next step is to open up your pocket. So what you want to do is fold it in half so you can get a pretty even start. And then you can see your line in the middle. And just cut down it. until you get unfolded after a couple cuts, about 1/2 inch from where you want to end. And then what you do is you cut 45-degree angles to the corners. You want to get very close to that stitch. Don't cut the stitch, but get very close to it. Okay. Do the other side, same thing. And see my line even through the fabric. Down about half an inch to that other, to the end. And then 45-degree angles. And again, you're cutting through both fabrics. So I think there you go. Very close to the end. Okay. Then all you need to do is turn everything, is to push this fabric inside. So everything, your pocket is right side out. And you've got your basic welted pocket. Now what I'm going to do, since again this fabric can't be ironed, normally you would just iron it and it would flatten right out and you'd have a beautiful pocket in there, and then all you would have to do is go in and sew down these triangles that you've created by doing that 45-degree angle. But since ironing really isn't an option, I'm going to do a stitch all the way around it. And again, it gives it a nice finish at the end too. I'm using black thread, so it's not going to be that beautiful of a finish, just so you can see it better. But if you were using white thread, that would be a nice, little accent on there. So I'll go do that right now. I don't think I showed you the back side in my last portion, so I just wanted to do that as well. So you can see it's all nice and neat. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just do kind of like a top stitch all the way around. I'd say about maybe 1/4 of an inch in. So that also sews down that the triangle that you've created on the other side as well. Make sure everything's kind of flat underneath. Went a little too far there. Alrighty, so there we go. We've got our finished pocket. It's not perfect, my top stitching, but it gives you the basic concept. Welt pockets aren't as scary as everybody thinks they are. It's actually a pretty easy thing to accomplish with just a little bit of practice. I hope you've enjoyed your tutorial today, and that you'll visit socheeky.blogspot.com for other tutorials and reviews.